Hey there, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is John Campea, and this is a special user-submitted question for the channel. And let's get right to it. This question gets submitted to us by Andrew Gifford, who writes, "Hey, John. What are the pros and cons of Palpatine returning? I'm of two minds. The Emperor does bridge all three generations, but finishing his story in Return of the Jedi, only to bring him back to be defeated again without setup, feels cheap. Thanks." Now, of course, what Andrew is referring to is the upcoming Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker and the fact that we all know that Emperor Palpatine is about to make his big return. The return of Palpatine was met initially with a whole ton of excitement. It was all the way back at Star Wars Celebration when they played the very first trailer for Star Wars Rise of Skywalker and they revealed the title of the movie and they had the Emperor's laugh. And then as the lights came back up in the auditorium, they saw Ian McDiarmid, the actor who's always played the Emperor, there on stage saying, "Run it again," and then they played the trailer again. And ever since then, everybody's been really excited about the return of the Emperor. The question becomes, what are the pros and cons of such a move? As we look at the pros, the first one that is really obvious is the one you mentioned yourself in your message, which is the fact that having Palpatine there at the end in episode 9 really becomes your connective tissue, making all 9 episodes, all the way from episode 1 through episode 9, as one throughput story from beginning to end. He really does tie the entire saga together, and that's one of the big advantages there. The second big pro is something that we saw right at the first trailer when they played it at Star Wars Celebration. The Emperor is an insanely popular character among Star Wars fans. As a matter of fact, I've mentioned on the show before that my wife Anne, her absolute 100% favorite Star Wars character of all time is not Luke, it's not Han, hell, it's not even Baby Yoda. It's the Emperor. He's a crazy popular character, so to bring a character like that in is nothing but good. And I would throw in a third big pro here, and that third big pro is the fact that he's just a great villain, and whenever you can just add a great villain to a story, that's always a positive. Now, as far as the cons go, the only con that I really see, I mean, without seeing the movie, and once we see the movie, maybe there'll be a ton of cons. But prior to seeing the movie, the only con I can really see into bringing in Palpatine is the notion that as much as a lot of people really enjoyed The Force Awakens, and I know I love The Force Awakens, I think that movie's great, but even though a lot of people loved it, one piece of criticism that got levied at J.J. Abrams a lot was the fact that it was very reliant on the nostalgia of the original Star Wars films. That could become something that makes him an easy target again by bringing back in the Emperor Palpatine. So there's some way that some people may look at that in and of itself as a bit of a negative. Now, as far as the thing you bring up in your email about, maybe bringing him back in without any setup, that's kind of cheap. I've got to 100% disagree with you. I mean, first of all, Palpatine's not a new character. We've had him in 6 different films to varying degrees, but to varying degrees, we've had him in 6 different films. We've had tons of setup with this specific character. Do we need a lot more? Do we need more movies to set up this character yet again, a character that already has 6 movies of history with us? I don't think so. Anything beyond a brief explanation about what's been going on with him in the meantime. You don't need an entire movie to do that. You really just need a scene to do that. And since when does a villain of a movie need other movies to set up their entrance? Hans Gruber in Die Hard, a character that a lot of people consider one of the top villains of all time in cinematic history, he just showed up in Die Hard. That's it. They didn't need another 1 or 2 movies of setup for Hans Gruber before we get to Die Hard. No, we are introduced to Hans Gruber, we see how cool of a villain he is, and then he dies, all in the span of 1 film. Now, ultimately, whether bringing back Palpatine is a good idea or a bad idea will be decided once we actually see the film. It's all in the execution. If J.J. Abrams uses the character in a brilliant way to add to an overall brilliant movie, then we're all going to acknowledge that, yes, it was a great move to bring Palpatine back. However, if J.J. Abrams botches it and we all hate the movie, and part of the reason we hate it is because maybe he misused Palpatine, well, then we're all going to say it's a bad idea, but history will be the ultimate judge. Anyway, those are some of the pros and cons that I see of bringing back Palpatine. Hey, listen, guys, while you're here, and thank you for watching this video, but why don't you take a second, click on the subscribe button, and click the thumbs up button, and don't forget, the John Campea Show is a 2 to 2.5 hour daily, Monday through Friday show where we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies and movie news. Why don't you come on back and join us for that? Anyway, guys, that'll do it for now. Thanks a lot for joining me. My name is John Campea, and until next time, bye-bye.